Welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Antoinette. I am a certified personal trainer and an online strength and fat loss coach. If you're new to this channel, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. I post plenty of different content, including anything fitness, gym vlogs, gym tips, nutrition. I do a little bit of everything. So if this is the type of content that you like to watch, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. But I thought this video would be like perfect since the summertime is coming. Everybody wants to get snatched. Everybody wants to have a snatched toned body, right? But no one really knows how to get abs. So I thought this video would be great. Everyone wants a six-pack. Everybody wants to look their best for the beach, for vacation. So we're going to be talking about the difference between core training and ab training. We're going to split this video into 3 parts. We're starting off with the definition of core training and the definition of ab training. The second part of the video will include 3 main exercises that you should incorporate into your routine for core training and ab training. And then the last part is when and why you would do these specific exercises. So starting off, is core training and ab training the same? Comment down below. Waiting. Not all core movements are considered abs and not all ab movements are considered core, but they are interchangeable terms, and sometimes you are working a little bit core when you're doing your abs and vice versa. It just depends on what kind of movement that you're doing. So we're going to start off with the definition so you guys can have a good understanding of what these terms actually mean. So your abdominal muscles, short word for it is abs, okay? When you think of abs, you think of six-pack, you think of summer vibes. The first layer of your midsection is called the rectus abdominis. The layer that we can actually see whenever you think of six-pack, just know that the actual term is the rectus abdominis. This is the outside layer. The next layer is the external obliques, and right below the external obliques is the internal obliques. And last but not least, the transverse abdominis. This is the most deepest layer in your abdominal area. So all 3 of these, the rectus abdominis, internal external obliques, and the transverse abdominis, they are all part of the core. But these are considered the abdominal muscles that you do more for aesthetic reasons, more for you want people to see your abs. These are very specific muscles on your abdomen. If you want to train your abs, then you need to be working on those 3 layers. Now the core muscles, they do refer to the 360-degree stability of your midsection. This is basically like the center of your whole body. This is including 20 plus muscles. There's so many different parts of your core that you really can't see. Now those outer layers that we talked about, we can see those. That's why people want to train abs. But when you're working on your core, this includes everything. That's more focused on function and performance. There's plenty of benefits that the core offers as long as you're training it appropriately. Work as a team to keep your hips, shoulders, and your spine stabilized. So that is what the function of core is, okay? And doing abs alone, not really going to help aid in those kind of things that the core aids in. So yes, technically the abdominal muscles are part of the core, but that doesn't mean they have the same function, okay? So that's what makes core muscles and ab muscles different. I'm gonna talk about 3 main movements that you really only need. Of course, there's so many different ab workouts that you can do. 3 functional ab exercises or anything that is including the bending of the spine, okay? When it comes to core, you're more stabilized, you're more sturdy, you're focusing more on technique. But when it comes to abs, it's more of a bending of the spine. Yes, there may be some ab exercises that doesn't require you to bend your spine or bend side to side, but for the most part, any kind of movement that you are bending, you are working on your abdominal muscles. So the first exercise that's super simple, everybody should know this, is a abdominal crunch, okay? So you are crunching, you are moving your spine, you are working on those outer layers. Does it include a little bit of core? Maybe, but for the most part, you're doing crunches so you can have that aesthetic, nice looking toned waist. But I see a lot of people doing this exercise wrong. This can definitely cause some pain in your lower back area if you are doing it wrong. Any kind of crunching movement that you are doing, you need to keep your head up and you're crunching against the ceiling. You want to point your chin upwards, directly up into the ceiling, rather than crunching towards your knees. You're going to feel your abdominal muscles fire up when you point your chin upwards rather than tucking it in. So that is one thing that's going to help relieve any back issues that you may have when you're doing and abdominal crunch. There's so many different kinds of crunches that you can do. Bicycle crunches, reverse crunches. There is a lot of variety. You don't have to just stick to regular crunch. You can always try different kinds of crunches. Any kind of crunch that you do is going to target that outer layer. Now we're going to get into the obliques, okay? Any kind of side bend, you can do it with a weighted plate, you can do it with a kettlebell, dumbbell, it doesn't matter. You're just holding one weight on one hand. You're going to bend to each side, making sure you're really squeezing those obliques, have that mind to muscle connection. Those are going to target your obliques. Now with the transverse abdominis, this is the deepest layer of your abdominal area. The transverse abdominis is located right around your oblique area, right underneath your belly button. Flutter kicks is a good exercise that you can do to target that muscle. Also, any kind of hollow body hold is going to target that lower muscle. Now that can be considered a core movement since your spine is stabilized, but in this case it's both. You're targeting your transverse abdominis, which is part of your abdominal muscles, and you're also targeting your core. Now when it comes to getting abs, this is what you guys want to know. In order for you to get abs, of course you need to be working on your abdominal muscles. That is correct. But in order to see and visualize those abs, it all comes from your diet. You need to have the appropriate nutrition. You need to be eating the right kind of food, making sure you're adding in chicken, fish, adding in your fruits and vegetables, all of the good stuff. You need to decrease your body fat in order to visualize your abs, and by doing that, you need to have a good diet. So when they say abs are made in the kitchen, that's exactly what they mean. Abs are made by what you put into your mouth. Of course, you have to work your abs to see the muscle, but if you have that layer of fat covering your abdominal area, covering that rectus abdominis, then you're not going to see anything. So it is really important to incorporate those healthy options that we just went over in order to see your abs. Now, do you have to work on abs every day to see results? No, you absolutely do not, but at least incorporate it in your routine a few times a week. What I personally like to do, you guys know I'm a Pilates girly. Pilates is my main thing when it comes to my abs, okay? I save my abs for that day because I know Pilates is going to kill my abs. Do so many different kind of ab exercises. We also throw in core as well. We're going to get into core. Core is very, very extremely important, especially if you are a weightlifter. Even just for an holistic approach, what we will get into, if I had to choose between core exercises or ab exercise, I would 100% choose core because there are so many benefits to having a strong core. I'm going to start off with 3 main exercises that includes your core. The first one is a standard plank or a side plank. We're not bending our spine in any kind of way. We are holding our core into one place and we are working multiple muscles at one time. We're not just working on the abdominal muscles, but we're working on this whole midsection to keep everything stabilized. That is considered a core movement. Now with the plank, there are plenty of different kinds of planks, but when you are having your core in a stabilized position, that is considered a core movement. So planks is a great exercise that you can add into your routine to build a strong core. Weighted carries, this one I feel like it's so slept on. This is really a great exercise to target not only your obliques, but it's targeting a lot of things all at once. Not just your core, but it's working your shoulders, it's working all of your obliques. I usually like to hold maybe a 15 or 20 pound dumbbell right over my head. We're going to keep our arms straight and then we're going to walk for a short amount of distance. If you're at Crunch Fitness or any kind of gym that has like open area, you're just going to walk back and forth for a couple of times for each side. You're going to start feeling all of your muscles working at once. This is an amazing exercise to strengthen your core, so I would definitely add in some kind of weighted carry into your core routine. And last but not least, we have bird dogs or dead bugs. These are both amazing exercises to target all of your midsection. Bird dogs and dead bugs are typically the same thing. You're just in a different position. When you are doing a dead bug, you are laying on your back, and when you're doing bird dogs, you're on your knees and hands. So basically it's just like a little flip-flop. They're both amazing exercises that can target all of your core. Add these 3 into your routine, any kind of plank variation, weighted carries, and then bird dogs and dead bugs. Now we're going to get into a little extra one for y'all, a little extra point for y'all. If you guys didn't know, any kind of strength training type of movement that you do is going to strengthen your core. If you are doing a barbell squat, you have to have a strong core in order to push the weight. It can be a goblet squat, a squat on the hack machine, it doesn't matter. Any kind of squat that you're doing, if you're using your core correctly, is going to indirectly target your core. And of course, deadlifts are using your core as well. So if you see people say you don't need to directly train your core because you're using your core in the movement, I would say that yes, they are training your core, but it's also still good to directly train the body part. It's kind of like saying, oh, don't directly train your glutes because you're getting glute activation in a squat. Yes, you're getting glute activation in a squat, but that's not enough to really build your glute. So it's basically the same thing. All compound movements incorporate the core and helps guide into pushing more weight. So the stronger that your core is, the more weight you're going to push. If you are doing a barbell squat and then you find yourself leaning forward too much, you find yourself wiggling too much, you're coming back up from the squat, most likely you have a weak core, okay? Once you stabilize your core and build your core, use your core correctly, it's going to help you vertically come straight up into a squat rather than leaning forward. So doing exercises like I stated is going to help build that strong core. So we're going to talk about what exactly is bracing your core. If you are a powerlifter, bodybuilder, or if you know people that's in that type of fitness industry, most likely may have heard of bracing your core. Bracing your core is a technique that a lot of powerlifters, bodybuilders do during their compound movements in order to quickly stabilize their midsection, their lower back, their spine. When you brace your core, you're basically tightening everything up in order for you to safely and correctly move the weight. So when I first started powerlifting, I always thought that bracing your core was like sucking in, basically just trying to show off your abs. I thought for the longest that's what bracing your core meant, but that's completely the opposite. So I want you guys to do this right now, okay? I want you to act like someone's about to punch your midsection right now. I'm pretty sure that you sucked out your stomach and you push as hard as you can down, as if someone's trying to punch you in your stomach. That's exactly what bracing your core is. You're pushing and engaging every single muscle in your midsection out in order to protect that area. And this is when a lot of bodybuilders and powerlifters use weightlifting belts, because it helps guide them into bracing their core correctly. A lot of people have trouble bracing their core without a weightlifting belt, so that's why a lot of people use weightlifting belts, not only to protect your back and your spine, but it's also to help guide into bracing. Do I recommend using a weightlifting belt right when you start your fitness journey, right when you get into weightlifting? No, I would hold off until you know exactly how to brace your core, how to engage your core through each exercise before you add on a weightlifting belt, because it does take away from you learning on your own. So that is what bracing your core means. So in any kind of exercise that you do, engaging your core basically means that you are bracing, you're pushing out, you're squeezing everything as you push out, and you're holding it tight, stabilizing your core in order for you to push more weight, be more stabilized, and improve your posture and balance. Having a weak core can cause a lot of problems outside of your midsection. It can cause shoulder pain, hip and back pain. That's why training your core is so important for all these different kinds of things. Abs is more for like aesthetic, look good, feel good. Core is more of a improving your athletic performance and saving you from any kind of serious injury. And the next reason why core is so important is just a holistic approach. You're going to need a strong core in whatever you do in life. Having a strong core comes with so many different benefits other than just the fitness aspects, but it's important to have a strong core when you get older, or even at the age that you're at right now, because some people still have problems with doing basic things, basic movements. So that's why building a strong core is important. When you're squatting to pick up a heavy suitcase, when you're overhead pressing to put that suitcase on the overhead bin of an airplane, yes, you are using your legs, yes, you're using your arms to push through that type of movement, but it all starts with a strong core. Having a strong core is the base of everything. Yes, aesthetics is great. We all want to look and feel our best. We all want to have visual abs and look like we are in shape. Yes, that is important, but don't forget about the holistic approach. This type of aspects to fitness is a lot more important than how we look, because everything will change when you get older. Everything is going to change when you age. So it's important to start now with this type of approach to fitness rather than waiting when you're 60, 70 years old. Now, when people say that you don't need to do ab workouts because you're training your core X, Y, and Z different ways, yes, that can be true for most people depending on your body fat percentage. So I always had visual abs. I always had a nice attractive midsection. You can see my abs, and there was a time when I did not do abs at all. I did not do any kind of crunch. I didn't do any kind of sit-up. I didn't do abs at all, and my abs were still visual, okay? Because when you're working your core, yes, you're going to indirectly target a little bit of your abs, but it just depends on your body fat percentage. So if you are on the lower body fat percentage, I'm not saying it's not necessary to do ab specific exercises, but you're going to have a nice looking attractive midsection if you're implementing and associating your core into compound movements. All I did was use my core correctly during certain exercises like my compound movements, and I already had a midsection with visible abs, and because of my diet and my lower body fat percentage. If you're on the leaner side and you're focusing entirely on core movement, then you're going to have a little bit of abs on there. Yes, you're going to have visual abs, but it's not going to be as pronounced as if you would directly just train your abs. The question is, should you work on your core or should you work on your abs? Which one should you focus on more? Focus on your core more because it's going to aid you to push more weight into the gym, improve your back and shoulder flexibility and stability. Now, abs are important as well for the aesthetic looking physique, but I would say focus on your core first, and then you can start implementing abs into your routine. But that is it for the video. I hope you guys now understand the difference between core specific movements versus ab exercises. If you guys like these type of videos, please give this video a big thumbs up so it can help grow my channel. The more I grow, the more I'm motivated to put out more content. Follow all my socials at Antoinette and I will see you guys in the next video.